Hi, third grade. We are going to start Horatius at the Bridge today, so please go get this. It would have been in the stuff that you got picked up from the school on Thursday or Friday, or got delivered to you, okay? Also with this is a CD that you can listen to when you're reading through it, because some of the words are big and hard, so maybe play the CD and read along during when I assign it, all right? So we're going to kind of go through this story, because it's an amazing story of courage, bravery. So let's start here. We're going to listen as the man reads it for us, and I'm going to stop it every so often, and we're going to talk about what's going on. Before we begin, I'm going to tell you a little backstory. There's this man named Tarquin. He was the king, and his son Sextus committed a horrible crime. And Rome, they were from Rome, and Rome said, no, we're not putting up with this. You are out. You are no longer our king. You're out of our country. Go. And so this is a story of him trying to get back to Rome, even though his son is a criminal and he's trying to take over again. So he comes to a man named Lars Porsena of Clusium, and Clusium is an enemy of Rome, and says, let's go get him. Let's go sack Rome. So why don't you help me? And this is a story of him gathering people to come take over Rome. All right? So let's start. And then also, before we begin, I want you to go get a piece of paper to draw what is going on. Because I'm going to draw back here what's going on. And I want you to copy the picture or do something similar so you get an idea of what's going on in this story. So paper, pencil, and even coloring pencils, all right? Hit pause, go get that, and then come back. All right, so let's begin. I want you to just follow along as he reads it, and I'll pause it every so often.
Lars Porsena of Clusium, by the 9 gods he swore that the great house of Tarquin should suffer wrong no more. By the 9 gods he swore it, and named a trysting day, and bade his messengers ride forth east and west and south and north to summon his array.
All right, so this is Lars Porsena saying Tarquin should suffer no more. We're going to go after him. We're going to go after Rome. Okay, so he's gathering people. Keep going.
East and west and south and north the messengers ride fast, and tower and town and cottage have heard the trumpet's blast. Shame on the false Etruscan who lingers in his home, when Porsena of Clusium is on the march for Rome.
Okay, so this shame on the false Etruscan, these are all these people from other places. They'll call them Etruscans. You'll see them called Etruscans. Tuscan people. Okay, so these are the side. We're going to put Rome over here and the enemy over here, all right? So let's keep listening.
The horsemen and the footmen are pouring in amain, from many a stately marketplace, from many a fruitful plain, from many a lonely hamlet, which, hid by beech and pine, like an eagle's nest, hangs on the crest of purple Apennine. From lordly Volaterrae, where scowls the far-famed hold, piled by the hands of giants, for godlike kings of old. From sea-girt Populonia, whose sentinels descry Sardinia's snowy mountain tops, fringing the southern sky.
These are all the enemies they're gathering.
From the proud mart of Pisae, queen of the western waves, where ride Massilia's triremes, heavy with fair-haired slaves. From where sweet Clanus wanders through corn and vines and flowers, from where Cortona lifts to heaven her diadem of towers.
Say more enemies from all
Tall
over.
are the oaks
all over
whose
Rome.
acorns drop in dark Auser's rill. Fat are the stags that champ the boughs of the Ciminian hill. Beyond all streams Clytumnus is to the herdsman dear. Best of all pools the fowler loves the great Volsinian mere. But now no stroke of woodman is heard by Auser's rill. No hunter tracks the stag's green path up the Ciminian hill. Unwatched along Clytumnus grazes the milk-white steer. unharmed the waterfowl may dip in the Volsinian mere.
So all these people aren't doing what they normally
The
do.
harvests
They're
of
going to war.
Horatium this year old men shall reap. This year young boys in Umbro shall plunge the struggling sheep. And in the vats of Luna this year the must shall foam round the white feet of laughing girls whose sires have marched to Rome.
So they're painting a picture of how many people they are gathering to fight on Rome. People who would normally be woodsmen cutting down things. They're not doing that this year. Let's see here. The people aren't hunting waterfowl because they're not doing it this year. They're not doing it right now because they're all marching on Rome. They're all going to attack Rome. They're giving us this huge picture how many people in this army are coming to fight against Rome.
There be 30 chosen prophets, the wisest of the land, who always by Lars Porsena both morn and evening stand. Evening and morn the 30 have turned the verses o'er, traced from the right on linen white by mighty seers of yore.
All right, so this council they're talking about, they're gathering to decide, should we go fight Rome or not? Okay?
And with one voice the 30 have their glad answer given, go forth, Lars Porsena, go forth, beloved of heaven. Go and return in glory to Clusium's royal dome, and hang round Nursia's altars the golden shields
They
of
said,
Rome.
yes, go fight.
And now hath every city sent up her tale of men. The foot are 80,000, the horse are thousands 10. Before the gates of Sutrium is met the great array. A proud man was Lars Porsena upon the trysting day. For all the Etruscan armies were ranged beneath his eye, and many a banished Roman, and many a stout ally. And with a mighty following to join the muster came the Tusculan Mamilius, prince of the Latian name.
Okay, so let's start building our army here. So not only do they have all these enemies of Rome gathering, they have people who banished Romans, so people who've been kicked out of cities. Oh yeah, they're going to fight against Rome now too. They're really building a huge army here. So let's kind of draw them in here. We have Lars Porsena. Let's just draw him on this side. Make sure if this is your paper, you turn it sideways, you turn it lengthwise like this. Okay? And so you have enough room to draw over here because we're going to draw a Rome over here and we're going to draw a bridge with water going through it. So let's just call this, we're going to call this guy Lars, and he's got this other enemy with him. We're going to see him again, Mamilius. So let's just draw him too. Okay. I think I gave him too many L's. All right. Okay, so let's keep listening.
But by the yellow Tiber was tumult and affright. From all the spacious Champaign to Rome men took their flight. A mile around the city the throng stopped up the ways. A fearful sight it was to see through 2 long nights and days.
Okay, so they're gathering, and let's draw a river here. So we're going to have a river come through here. Okay, and then I'm going to draw a bridge over because this is very important. A bridge. Okay. If you want to draw a fancier bridge, you may. Okay, so we have this bridge. We have the Tiber River here. It's going to refer to it often as yellow and foamy. So, Tiber River. Let's make our water, look more watery. So let's just. Now remember, it would not be easy for an enemy to get across the water. Look how many soldiers they'd have to try to get across a really big river. Think about trying to get people across the Missouri River without a bridge, right? Would be nearly impossible. So they are stuck on this side. They're going to have to go across the bridge to sack Rome. All right, so here we got Lars, Porsena, and Mamilius here, and all their throngs of people. And this author has done a really good job of painting a picture of how many enemies. So I'm just going to draw tons and tons of enemies back here. Okay. It said for like miles, right? 2 miles round. Oh, let's see here. Did it say miles? A mile around the city, right? Okay, so all around. People are in Rome over here. Let's draw Rome here. If I were you, or if I was in Rome during that time, I would be pretty afraid at this point. I'm not sure. There's a glare, and I'm really sorry if there's a glare somewhere. I hope that it's not right. There are things that are really important. But I'm just drawing little city, like little buildings here, just really rough of, this is Rome, okay? All right. And this is the army coming against them. All right, let's keep listening. We are on number 14 now.
For aged folks on crutches, and women great with child, and mothers sobbing over babes that clung to them and smiled, and sick men borne in litters high on the necks of slaves, and troops of sunburned husbandmen with reaping hooks and staves, and droves of mules and asses laden with skins of wine, and endless flocks of goats and sheep, and endless herds of kine, and endless trains of wagons that creaked beneath the weight of corn sacks and of household goods, choked every roaring gate. Now from the rock Tarpeian could the wan burghers spy the line of blazing villages red in the midnight sky. The fathers of the city, they sat all night and day. For every hour some horseman came with tidings of dismay.
Okay, so do you remember, if you read with me the story of the Romans? I was reading part of that. We talked about this Tarpeian. Remember the woman who took all these the gold that was her payment to betray Rome? This is the rock of, this is named after her, okay? And this is where, maybe up here, there's spies coming to watch, and every time they come back and bring news, there's more than we thought. They're coming, okay? So this is their warning, letting the fathers of the city know it's not looking good.
To eastward and to westward have spread the Tuscan bands, nor house, nor fence, nor dovecote in Crustumerium stands. Verbenna down to Ostia hath wasted all the plain. Astur hath stormed Janiculum, and the stout guards are slain.
Okay, so we're just going to stop here. Janiculum is a hill over here in Rome. It's like a big area, and it would be like, maybe you would come across as you're coming to war. That's the first place you come to. And Janiculum is lost. It means it's already been defeated. These people, the bad guys, have come in and taken over, have overrun Janiculum. So there's nothing that's standing now between Rome and the bad guys, okay? Janiculum is lost. Their first place of defense, it's already been overtaken. We're going to see this again. We're going to talk about Janiculum again.
I wis in all the Senate there was no heart so bold, but sore it ached, and fast it beat, when that ill news was told. Forthwith uprose the consul, uprose the fathers all. In haste they girded up their gowns, and hied them to the wall.
Okay, so they're saying that this just disheartened them. They're so upset. Janiculum's lost. What hope could be there for Rome, right? This is the Senate getting together.
They held a council standing before the river gate. Short time was there, ye well may guess, for musing or debate. Out spake the consul roundly, the bridge must straight go down. For since Janiculum is lost, naught else can save the town.
Okay, so they had the council meeting. They say they're doing it standing, like they don't even have time to sit down. This is in a rush, right? The only way to save our town is to tear this bridge down. And don't think it's like a little dainty little bridge. It's a huge bridge people would have used to go back and forth for trade and just to travel. It's very sturdy, and it's going to take a little while to tear down. Okay, so they're saying the only thing that's going to save our town is to tear that bridge down. Okay, let's turn.
Just then a scout came flying, all wild with haste and fear. To arms, Sir Consul! Lars Porsena is here! On the low hills to westward the consul fixed his eye, and saw the swarthy storm of dust rise fast along the sky.
There's no time. See the scouts coming saying, it's too late. They're already here. They're already here.
And nearer fast and nearer doth the red whirlwind come. And louder still, and still more loud, from underneath that rolling cloud, is heard the trumpet's war note proud, the trampling and the hum. And plainly and more plainly now through the gloom appears, far to left and far to right, in broken gleams of dark blue light, the long array of helmets bright, the long array of spears.
Rome's looking out, all they can see is weapons.
And more plainly above that glimmering line, now might ye see the banners of 12 fair cities shine. But the banner of proud Clusium was highest of them all, the terror of the Umbrian, the terror of the Gaul. And plainly and more plainly now might the burghers know, by port and vest, by horse and crest, each warlike Lucumo. There Silnius of Aretium on his fleet roan was seen, and Astur of the fourfold shield, girt with the brand none else may wield, Tolumnius with the belt of gold, and dark Verbenna from the hold by reedy Thrasymene. Fast by the royal standard, o'erlooking all the war, Lars Porsena of Clusium sat in his ivory car. By the right wheel rode Mamilius, prince of the Latian name, and by the left false Sextus, that wrought the deed of shame. But when the face of Sextus was seen among the foes, a yell that rent the firmament from all the town arose. On the housetops was no woman, but spat towards him and hissed. No child, but screamed out curses and shook its little fist.
Okay, so they're saying who's all the leaders. These 12 different towns have come to take on Rome. And they're saying, they're kind of listing some of the people who are there. So we have Mamilius, we have Lars, we have Sextus himself, who's the son of Tarquin, who wants to get back into Rome. So we have Sextus. I want to make sure you know these names so that when you see them in the poem, you know what side they're on, all right? And then as soon as the crowd sees, as soon as these people in Rome see, up in their buildings, as soon as they see Sextus over here, they start hissing, right? Hissing, and even the little children shakes their little fist at him. They see him because they know he is a really bad guy, all right?
The consul's brow
We're in
was
7
sad,
now, 26.
and the consul's speech was low. And darkly looked he at the wall, and darkly at the foe. Their van will be upon us before the bridge goes down. And if they once may win the bridge, what hope to save the town?
So they're distraught. They're in despair. They're already here. And if they get across that bridge, we have no hope. Okay? What hope is there to save the town? Okay, we're going to stop there today, kind of a little bit of cliffhanger, and I will do the next section again on another day, and we will take off where we left off, okay?